If he's not here, the only one who can protect the village is me.
It's gonna help give me my answer. It's gonna help give me my answer.
Yes, that's all I want. Look,
because it's not gonna say that I said anything about your kid. Go ahead. You're not gonna hear the word kid come out of that whole thing. Go ahead.
It don't matter. The video itself says something about my kid. You confirmed that you watched it 5 times and
I did. Yep, I watched it. It's my free right to watch any video. I can watch any video. So as y'all just heard me just tell this dude is that my community post never mentioned a child or said anything about a child at all whatsoever. And I even encouraged him to go ahead and read it because it's going to answer the question that I was asking him the entire time, which is, does my community tab post say anything about a kid? And no matter how many times I asked that question, he literally dodged it the whole time, literally ducked it. So let's just go ahead and address this directly. The claim being made is that it doesn't matter what I said in my community post because the video itself mentioned his child and I watched the video multiple times. That logic itself doesn't hold at all whatsoever. Watching a video is not endorsement. Viewership does not equal agreement, approval, or co-signing every statement made inside that content. If it did, every viewer would be responsible for everything a creator says, and that standard collapses immediately. I did not create the video, I did not write it, I did not edit it, I did not upload it, and I did not control its messaging. Responsibility belongs to the creator, not the audience. And my community post did not reference a child at all whatsoever, and it did not highlight a child, and it did not endorse any statement involving a child. Intent is determined by what I said and what I did, and not by assumptions about what I watched, right? So there is no requirement to publicly condemn or disclaim content that I did not make. Silence is not consent and non-reaction is not agreement, and especially when there is no involvement in the creation of the content in the first place. And this argument only works if you ignore the context and replace evidence with assumption. And once you do that, anyone can be accused of endorsement simply for just watching a video. That's not accountability, that's narrative stretching. So bottom line, I didn't create it, I didn't control it, I didn't authorize it, and I didn't reference a child. Watching a video even more than once is not endorsement, and saying it is definitely doesn't make it true.
Of my child. You didn't have no problem with the mentioning of my child, but you got a problem with me mentioning your friend.
But your child wasn't mentioned in a bad light. You think it is.
That's hypocritical. They was.
That's not. No, it wasn't. So guys, here we have his grand opportunity at trying to make me out to be a hypocrite by claiming I had no issue with the mention of his child, but that I took issue with the mention of my deceased best friend. And those two situations are not comparable even in the slightest. His child was not insulted, attacked, mocked, or targeted as an individual, and he even said it per his words that nobody targeted his child directly or anything like that. So the reference made was about his conduct as a parent in a public dispute, i.e. ties the saying, not an attack on the child's character, safety, or identity. No name was used, no harm was directed at the child, and he even goes on record saying this. So my best friend, on the other hand, is deceased and was used as a point of retaliation in a conflict he had with someone else, a situation that had nothing to do with me and nothing to do with the original disagreement. This is not commentary, and this is completely escalation, and criticism of an adult's actions is not the same as weaponizing a dead person, again, mind you, a dead person, to hurt someone. Context matters here, right? So there's also a clear boundary difference. Once a boundary involving a child is crossed, again, ties the saying situation, a parent commanding respect would not be publicly interacting, joking, or engaging with the individual who crossed that boundary. Again, him and ties the saying, laughing together on Twitter, but the public behavior communicates tolerance, whether intentional or not. The observation does not paint a child in a negative light at all, which Shogun's video clearly shows this and displays this, and he also narrates this exact fact. So if you go listen to this video, he literally breaks it down as to why he said command, not demand. Command respect for your child, which DragonclapTV seems to not understand that he's using the wrong word and clearly did not listen to the video, or he just thinks that demand and command respect are the same nature and are saying the same thing, which they're not. So that lets me know right there that he's completely illiterate as well, or he doesn't understand literature. So being offended by the use of my deceased best friend is not hypocrisy, it's complete consistency. One situation involved commentary on public conduct and the other involved dragging a dead person into a conflict as leverage. Those are not the same, and calling them the same requires ignoring intent, context, and proportionality. And when you remove those, you're not making an argument, but you're forcing a narrative completely. And bottom line, criticizing adult behavior is not equivalent to exploiting a dead person, and refusing to accept that difference doesn't make me wrong, but it makes the comparison completely dishonest. Got it?
Say that I don't demand respect for my child.
It had the audacity to say that I don't demand respect.
Command respect.
Demand respect.
Command respect.
Command respect for his own child.
No. I don't agree with that. How you know I agreed with that? You don't know what I agreed with and what I didn't agree with. I could watch a whole. I can watch a whole movie. Listen, Dragonclap, I'm pretty sure you don't watch the movie where you said, okay, this part was good, but I didn't like this part. Pretty sure you, just like any other human out here in this whole world, has seen the movie or show a certain part in a certain movie or episode that they did not like, but they like the rest of it. You can't argue, you cannot.
So I can have my homeboys go and endorse my video of the friend that I was mentioning.
If they
and
did,
they can go stare that shit around.
But it's not their fault that you put
100% A1. He took Sasuke.
They can say that all day, but they didn't make it. They didn't make it. They didn't make it.
Feel like he affiliated with it?
I don't care about no affiliations. I care about who created it. I care about who put the work.
For simply commenting on my video.
I care about who put the work. I don't care about no weak ass posts. We two different niggas, man.
He got a nigga for commenting on my video.
We two different niggas,
nah,
bro.
he got a nigga for commenting on my video. He would have definitely considered it affiliation to be in the community post, sharing it and saying, go watch this. This is a perfect video. I watched it 5 times, picking this and that. He would have considered that affiliation because he went in on a nigga who dropped a single comment.
I gotta go ahead and say that, man. I can't do nothing but chalk this. We two different niggas. I'm not gonna go after somebody who didn't put the work in.
Look, if he was Fred Flintstone yabba dabba doing and clicking and sharing the video, talk about this is a great video we could all learn from, this is blah blah blah, you call him an affiliation to the disrespect. He advertising the shit. He said he saw it 5 times. He watched them being killed on video 5 times. He didn't see a single problem wrong with the video. He couldn't say nothing in response to that. You would be like affiliation to the disrespect, and there ain't no way in the world that this man gonna come to me later on tomorrow and tell me, hey, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I was just sharing it. Did I ever word for word mention what was? Nah, I mean, you wouldn't have that, man.
You never watched the show, and you never said I don't like this part, but this part was cool. So you never ate a meal. You never went and ordered something from a restaurant, or never went to somewhere to go eat, and you got a whole platter and you ate the mashed potatoes, you ate the fucking rice, but you say the chicken is dry. You ain't never had that happen before?
Got him! Got him!
So you don't think? So you don't think? So you don't think?
Answer that question. I'm gonna answer that question. If you let me, I'm gonna answer that question.
Oh my God! Oh! Oh! Please let it be good, nigga.
All right. One.
Tell the truth
one
now.
That's like, yeah. One that's like you saying you know what I'm saying? Okay, so you saying like watching the movie and say, hey, I like this part, but I didn't like this part.
Come here. Shut your stupid ass.
One, you didn't say you didn't like it.
This dude right here.
Okay.
If you had said that, I would have been like, okay, for sure. I respect that. He kept true to it. That was the one part of the video Shogun did he didn't fuck with.
So it's my job to tell you. So it's my job to tell you that.
So it's my job to tell you that.
It ain't your job. It ain't your job.
It ain't your job.
Say what?
It's the mind-boggling, eye-popping, all-new Oscar.
Got him! Got him.
So y'all just heard what I just heard, right? He literally just admitted that it is not my job or obligation to tell him that I disagree with something in a video, okay? By that admission, you do realize that everything he has ever done in retaliation against me is completely null and void. So let me break this down for y'all right quick. So at one point, I asked him directly whether he believed I was sitting there laughing at or approving the part of the video that mentioned his child. He said no. I then asked whether it was my responsibility to explicitly tell him that I didn't agree with that part. As you guys just heard, he literally said no to that as well. So with that admission, that matters a lot, right? Because his entire argument later depends on the idea that my silence or my failure to publicly condemn something I didn't create equals endorsement or affiliation. But he already acknowledged that it wasn't my job to do that. Once that's conceded, the foundation of the argument or claim disappears completely, bruh. You cannot argue that someone endorsed something by not speaking up when you've already admitted that they had no obligation to speak up. That is completely contradictory to everything you've ever said at that point, because let me remind you again, I did not create the video. I did not control the video. I did not know what would be in the video beforehand, and I did not reference his child in anything I said publicly. So responsibility belongs to the person who made the content and not the viewer, not the friend, and not the person mentioned by association. And because of that, the justification for retaliation also collapses. So this whole thing that he's been doing, disrespecting my dead best friend, my family, doxing me, everything, using my deceased best friend as a response to a situation I did not author, approve, or control is not proportionate accountability. It's escalation based on a false premise. If the premise is that I endorsed something and that premise is already contradicted by his own admission that it was not my job to tell him anything, then the retaliation has no logical foundation. An apology was also later given for what was done to me. That also confirms the same point, that the actions was not justified. You cannot simultaneously say someone was responsible and admit they had no responsibility. Those two positions cannot exist at the same time. So bottom line, he acknowledged it wasn't my job to disclaim or condemn something I didn't create. That admission defeats the endorsement claim, and once the endorsement claim falls, the justification for everything that followed after falls along with it. Everything down to the disrespect of my family, my dead best friend, and everything else he's done to me collapses completely by this admission that he just conceded upon.
But if it comes
So I owed you that.
people,
So I owed you that.
You just said that the public perception that people get of you, you feel bad about. But how come you don't feel bad about niggas thinking you endorsing a video that's talking about my kid?
How come you don't feel bad about niggas thinking you endorsing a video that's talking about my kid?
So there's been a repeated claim by Dragonclap that I endorsed or was affiliated with a video that was made by Young Shogun that supposedly mentioned Dragonclap's child, and I just want to say that that claim is completely false. And here's why: because he's been just going to town on this whole you're affiliated and you're endorsing, or you've affiliated and you've endorsed this before and after, and just all of this nonsense that he's been just spewing out. He doesn't realize intellectually that it doesn't make sense. And here's why. Number one, I had no involvement in the creation of that video. I did not help with the idea. I did not see a script. I did not know what would be said beforehand. And I did not approve or co-sign any part of it prior to release. Two is, before the video dropped, I could not have endorsed its contents because I did not know its contents. Supporting a friend releasing a video is not the same thing as endorsing unknown contents. Another reason is because after the video dropped, I watched it just like any other viewer. Watching, rewatching, laughing at general moments, or sharing a public link does not equal endorsement of every statement within a video, especially content I did not create. Another point I want to make is that at no point before or after the video's release did I make any community post or a statement about Dragonclap's child. And that's a direct question I literally asked him, and it was never answered with evidence. He literally could not just answer the question, and I have audio of him literally just refusing to just directly answer my question yes or no. And he even went as far as to say, no, it's not a yes or no question. I just wanted to put that out there because the answer is a no. And that's why all that happened, because the answer is simply no. He just didn't want to say it. But another reason is because endorsement requires knowledge and agreement. Affiliation requires participation and or prior approval. I had neither. So what's being done here is the replacement of evidence with assumptions, which is turning association into guilt and silence into agreement. And so that's not how responsibility works. Just flat out telling y'all, that's just not how it works, right? And I just want to end this note by saying this, is that I am responsible only for what I say and do, not for content that I did not create, did not control, and did not agree to beforehand, okay? So if you don't understand what I just explained, for the people in the back, rewind this segment and listen again, because it doesn't take a lot of brains to understand what I just said.
You see what I'm saying?
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
So I'm supposed to feel bad because somebody assumed that I'm doing something I'm not doing?
No, but if
so I just asked him, am I supposed to feel bad for people assuming that I did something that I didn't do? And of course, he responded with no, and that matters a lot to this whole situation, because his entire argument depends on the idea that other people thinking I endorse something somehow creates responsibility on my end. But he already acknowledged that I'm not responsible for those assumptions. You can't say someone isn't responsible for an assumption and then treat the assumption as proof of guilt. I didn't create the video, I didn't control it, and I didn't reference his child at all, nowhere on the YouTube platform or outside of YouTube. So people believing something incorrect doesn't create accountability. It only shows that there was a misunderstanding, and a misunderstanding is not wrongdoing at all.
no, but if it's not something that you down with, you know what I'm saying? In the middle of endorsing the video, if you had did a slight segment like how I did in saying, "Hey, I don't want no disrespect for this part."
So wait a minute. This dude just literally said that I should have made a disclaimer in my community tab post. Quick question, how does that even make sense when I'm not even making a video talking about his child? And the fact that he literally just said that it's not my job to tell him anything that I disagree with about the video that he has an issue with. So there's an important distinction being ignored here, guys. He added disclaimers in his video because he was the one creating the content and choosing to speak on sensitive personal topics. He had authorship, control, and intent. He knew what he was about to say, and he understood that he was crossing into personal territory, including mentioning my deceased best friend. That responsibility belongs to the creator at that point. And my situation was completely different. I did not create the video, I did not control what was included in it, and my community post never mentioned his child at all, which per his own words, he said I didn't do. I was simply shouting out a video and telling people to go watch it. Expecting me to add a disclaimer for a community tab post or for content that I didn't author assumes I had responsibility that never existed in the first place. He acknowledged earlier that it wasn't my job to tell him that I disagreed with anything in the video that Shogun made. Once that's admitted, there is no logical basis to later argue that I should have said something anyway. You can't say someone has no obligation to speak and then criticize them for not speaking. Makes no sense. There's also a difference between introducing sensitive personal information and reacting to existing content. He chose to bring up my deceased best friend, and he did it intentionally as retaliation in a video he controlled. I did not introduce any personal information about his child, and I didn't reference his child at all in anything I said publicly in a community tab post nor video. Those are two different roles, two different actions, and two different levels of responsibility. So disclaimers belong to the person with authority over the content, not the viewer reacting to it. Responsibility follows authorship, not reaction. I didn't create the video that Shogun made, I didn't control the video, and I didn't mention his child. And I just do not understand why do I gotta keep repeating this throughout this whole documentary, but it seems I have to, because he seems to believe that I have some type of responsibility to take behind what was said in this video, and because of my community tab post. So the expectation that I needed to perform a disclaimer for him to know that I disagreed is based on an obligation that never existed at all. Treating those two situations as equivalent is not logic, it is simply a false equivalence. And there you have it.
Clap, if being 100 with you though, if you was in my shoes, I would have accepted what you said, because I can understand somebody saying, hey, you know, all that other shit, that shit was funny, but I ain't agree with that part right there though. It's okay to not like everything that you see. I would agree with that too. No, it's okay to not like everything you see. You got to look at it from a down to earth perspective. You can't just you can't just penalize me just because I said 100%. You don't know what I'm 100% siding with. You don't know that I sat there and said, damn, that's fucked up right there. But all that other shit, yeah. I understand that being mentioned, that's okay. That's fine with me. That's all that I wanted to agree on. Right, and that's fine with me. I told you this numerous times that it's fine with me. I understand your perspective, and which I've said over I don't know how many times till I'm blue in the face.
And I hear you. It's not falling on deaf ears, man.
I've said this to you. Right, but also I want you to understand my perspective too though. I said it's 100%. That's a good roast. What if I selectively picked what I want out of it to consider it a good roast? What if I got to that part to where it was like, okay, the kid thing,
I'm being super unreasonable, because I'm like,
no, I'm not saying that, but you gotta try to have an open mind. Is all I'm asking. Have an open mind though. It's like okay, it's like, you see what I'm saying? Like a person can be mixed emotioned about things. I can watch the whole movie of Titanic and be like,
no, I agree with that. I agree with you.
The burrito tacos, that's a perfect example. Everybody was hyped up about the burrito tacos. I went and fucking tried them shits, and I was like, the shell tastes good, the sauce tastes good, but the fucking beans in that shit was gross. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? But you see how I was able to be like, okay, I like this, and that was cool, but I don't like this.
I respect that.
So apparently the assumption being pushed is that because I said that Young Shogun's video was a good roast, that must mean I supported every part of it, specifically the segment where a child was mentioned. But that assumption collapses under basic logic. People can like something overall while disagreeing with certain parts of it. And I even gave a simple analogy about the burrito tacos, right? You can enjoy a meal, the shell, the sauce, the meat, and still say that the beans were terrible. And Dragonclap himself said he respected and agreed with that point, which means he acknowledged that selective approval exists. So saying a video was good does not prove I endorsed every segment inside of it. Then there's the disclaimer argument. His video begins with two primary disclaimers stating the entire video is scripted satire, fake commentary, and not meant to be taken seriously. That framing defines the tone of the whole video. Later, he inserted a mid-video segment claiming respect for the death of my best friend and my situation or my grieving behind his death, but immediately followed it with insults and laughter, keeping the moment within the same satirical framing the video established from the start. So the claim that my community post required a disclaimer, which he just tried to use that as a means to say that I should do as he did, doesn't hold up. A viewer recommending or enjoying a video does not automatically endorse every line spoken within it, and Dragonclap agreed with the principle that proves that, i.e. the burrito taco analogy.
Man, let me talk to y'all today. So, I know a lot of people have been waiting on me to explain the situation. I'll explain it right now. We've been through this before. Young Shogun says something about Dragon Ball. I point out that it is incorrect. And Young Shogun responds by telling me I better never mention him again.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
There's a little bit of misconceptions I actually have to go over that I actually didn't know in the first time I made my videos. He actually told me, well, he didn't tell me, but he said it in one of his videos. But yes, he technically did mention me first. Well, not really mention me. He kind of really insulted all of KZN first.
The idea that someone is fraudulent because they show respect toward things they themselves would want respected if it were the other way around is what's a backbreaker for the throw it back gang. Throw it back gang.
The throw it back gang.
You get what I'm saying? And just pretty much lied on you and stuff about the whole toriyama shit. So I did go underneath his comments along with number 3, and I responded to number 3 basically saying that this nigga stupid and shit for doing that. And he blocked me during that moment.
When me and Sasuke were disagreeing about Dragon Ball initially, him and multiple other accounts they had spamming the same nonsensical defense for Sasuke were in my comments. He got blocked in. So when he came to make this post, it immediately disappeared after he refreshed because he was already blocked.
See, I didn't notice at first. I didn't know he blocked me during that moment. I thought he deleted my comment, but no, he blocked me. I don't know if he blocked number 3 or not, but he did block me. I think he did block number 3 as well.
No, your homeboy was already sticky surfboarding in my comments before this point. He was already riding for Sasuke, and that's when he was blocked.
But he removed me, and he called that being toxic, by the way. He said it in one of his videos that me and number 3 was being toxic, which I have that. And you can see number 3's comment, which that's what he considers toxic, which is fucking laughable. He thinks nobody can see that shit. I don't have my comment anymore, but I do have number 3's comment. And this is what he calling toxic. This is how retarded the nigga is. He didn't mention me anymore until the video I sent to you about how Toriyama hater backtracks and admit he know nothing about Dragon Ball. And that's when he mentioned that I had a Roshi profile picture.
Why would one of your homeboys have a picture of Roshi as his profile picture?
And that's the one I commented under. And I thought he deleted my comment when I commented under there about don't mention me again.
I said, do yourself a favor and don't mention me again. You got no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And if you associate me with something gay again, I'll roast your whole fucking channel.
But apparently, since I was already blocked, the comment just never went through. So I thought he deleted my comment, but he just never did. He already had me blocked from the first time I commented underneath his account. So there's that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Shogun may have said, don't mention me, but by that point, he was already in my comments. He had already designed the artwork for the roast of my channel. And by that logic, he had absolutely no right to demand that I not mention him.
So as we just heard Dragonclap say, he argues that Shogun had no right to tell him don't mention me because by that point Shogun had already defended me in the comments under his video where he had claimed that I disrespected Toriyama's death because he had designed the thumbnail for a roast video I had made on him. But that argument ignores the timeline and the boundary that was clearly set. Shogun warned him twice. First, directly under Dragonclap's own video, telling him not to mention him again. Then publicly in a community post when the original warning appeared to be hidden, but he was actually deleted, of course, but the message was clear. Dragonclap's response is to argue that because Shogun defended me in a comment section and helped design a thumbnail for a roast aimed at him, that somehow removes Shogun's right to set that boundary to not be mentioned in a video. But participation in a discussion does not equal permanent permission to be used as someone's content, and defending someone in a comment thread is not the same as volunteering to be mentioned in someone else's videos. And once a direct warning has been issued twice, the claim that someone had no right to set that boundary does not hold up one bit. It just explains why the warning was ignored, flat out.
But let me make this very clear. The very first time I engaged in a discussion that Black Sasuke was having with Kalualicious about Dragon Ball,
See, right out the gate, dude is already lying. I went after Killer Alicious for 2 reasons. First reason is because he called Horizon a sped. Second reason is because he attacked my whole community, calling us stupid and calling us a bunch of idiots and calling us a bunch of yes men, which were all personal attacks. I've already presented this evidence at the beginning of this documentary, and since he wants to lie again, I guess I'll go ahead and show it here.
I did the light roast on him with Random Black Guy. This was his opportunity to let me know if he had a problem with me and what I said.
Every time you give Horizon an actual argument and show beats, he said, well, Dragon Ball Super is retarded.
Dragon Ball Super is retarded on Horizon. Oh, just sped ass. Power-wise, baby wouldn't have to try again. Supposedly he's mad because I called him and his community stupid. You guys, all of you are stupid. Y'all are stupid. And I called his community full of bunch of yes men. I don't take that back.
Black Sasuke responded with a 2-hour-long live stream roast on my channel.
So he just told you guys that I made a 2-hour video on him, but he did not explain the context as to why I made the 2-hour video on him. But since he did not provide you guys with the context, I'll go ahead and provide it for you. But the reason why I made a 2-hour video on him is because he said that I disrespected the literal death of Akira Toriyama. And for some reason, I'm finding it very suspicious that he did not explain it to you guys why I did it in the first place, which would kind of imply to others that I just did it out of nowhere, like what it seems to be like he's trying to say from the start of this whole segment in his video. And do keep in mind that me and him both talked about this video that he made in our private Discord VC call, where he ended up conceding to the fact that he was wrong for making the video and also apologizing to me for it as well, in which earlier in this documentary it is already explained.
And then after that, a 9-hour-long roast of my channel.
So just like moments ago where he mentioned the 2-hour video that I made on him and provided you guys no context, now he's mentioning the 9-hour live stream that I made on him and also provided you guys no context. So let me provide you guys a decent piece of context as to why I made a 9-hour live stream on him. The reason why I made a 9-hour live stream on him is because he literally went to my old Facebook page that has now since been deleted and grabbed personal DMs of me and my best friend having our final share words together in a conversation before he died. And me being me, I was of course upset about that information being shared publicly on YouTube, so I reacted like any other human would react, which is get upset and go after him.
Young Shogun was over there admitting that he had created the thumbnail for an artwork, and I had no idea because I didn't know Young Shogun. All I knew was that after that, he came to my comments disrespecting me on behalf of Black Sasuke about Dragon Ball.
So of course he can't provide you with the context for why Shogun made the thumbnail for my Toriyama response video. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and explain it. I told Shogun that I needed a thumbnail for the response, and I also told him that I intended to roast Dragonclap in that video. And so Shogun simply made me the thumbnail at my request. And so at that time, Shogun wasn't even talking about Dragonclap because he literally had no issue with them at all at that time. He just was merely helping me out with a thumbnail because I asked him to. And with that being said, I also want to debunk this idea that Shogun went into Dragonclap's comment section disrespecting him on my behalf, because that's not what happened. Shogun went to the comment section under Dragonclap's Toriyama video and responded to a comment from Trey number 3, who was defending me and explaining that I didn't disrespect Akira Toriyama, and Shogun replied calling Dragonclap stupid for lying on me about that claim, and for that both Shogun and number 3 content were both blocked. And because Dragonclap didn't like the criticism he was getting, he also silenced both of them, something he himself admitted happened moments before this part of the documentary even came about. And Dragonclap, I don't know why you keep trying to pretend that this was just about Dragon Ball, but that argument collapsed the second you titled a video claiming that I disrespected the death of Akira Toriyama. That became no longer about an anime debate at that point. That became a personal accusation against my integrity, which I literally explained this to you in our private Discord VC call as well, which you agreed and apologized for. And in case you don't remember that, here's a reminder.
You said that I disrespected a dead man, Clap.
No, I didn't say you disrespected it. Oh,
you did. Yes, you started out with something that was no longer about Dragon Ball.
You started out with something that was no longer about Dragon Ball.
And you told everybody on YouTube that I disrespected a dead man, a man who died.
What you did was distasteful.
Yes, but to them, but think about
and maybe a bit disrespectful. Think about
how that make people feel.
Came there openly. No, I didn't think that you came there openly and was like, "Fuck this nigga."
Think about so
times.
basically, it's okay for you to. It's okay for you to.
No, it wasn't okay.
Tell
but
people
what
that I disrespected a dead man, though.
No, it wasn't.
So
no,
it's okay to do that.
I had no problem with the roast because, come on, it's me. You know, Clap. I don't care. The roast is all well and good.
So wait a minute. The dude just sat there and complained about my community tab post, calling him disrespectful, but here in this video he's saying that he's okay with the roast and that he was fine with it the whole time. And I'm DragonclapTV, so you know I'm all about roasting, so it was okay the entire time. But we just heard him in another video saying that the roasts were disrespectful and that they're still not off my wall. Y'all can't, man, you can't write this shit. I swear I can't with this dude.
And then I responded with the satirical content. And producing this satirical content to make everybody laugh, the only people who were not laughing was Black Sasuke and his team. In fact, he was so upset that I responded back, and I did not do a 9-hour-long roast of his channel, but somehow he was so upset with the caliber of jokes and the caliber of roasting and the markout received that he essentially said, okay, enough is enough, waved the white flag and admitted that he wanted no further smoke. Respect. Cool. Except he took to his community post wall to disrespect me in about 100 or so community posts, calling me out of my name.
So why am I not surprised that he would conveniently lie about this part of the story here? So let me explain something that Dragonclap conveniently left out while I'm sitting here reviewing this, because the way he just told the story completely skips over the reason I responded the way I did. So there's a video that's titled "Spinning the Block on Young Shogun, KaZamaNaTion Crybabies Exposed" that prompted my response to do that 9-hour live stream, and the reason, which he conveniently doesn't explain truthfully, why I even did that 9-hour live stream on him in the first place, is because I had just found out that he went into my personal Facebook, which has since been deleted due to him doing what I'm going to explain to you all that he did. And of course the evidence is all throughout the documentary, so y'all should already know that he's lying already. But he literally pulled information involving my deceased best friend, showed private messages between me and him during his final hours, and even used my personal grief videos in his content, which is what I had just discovered that day. So yeah, I started a stream, opened the panel up to my community members, and we watched his video together, reacting to what he had done and calling it out for what it was. Because up until that point, I had never done anything personal to him like that. I didn't go digging through his private life. I didn't expose his personal messages. I didn't weaponize his family or anything personal about him. But that context is conveniently missing from the way he tells the story here. And he keeps pointing to my community posts where I was roasting him and calling him the nicknames I gave him for his sexual jokes, and because he lied on me about Akira Toriyama, as if all of this started happening out of nowhere. No, those posts were responses too. He literally made a video accusing me of disrespecting the death of Akira Toriyama, which is already a personal smear on my character, because my tribute posts never did anything like that, which I proved beyond a reasonable doubt in this documentary that he's lying about right here. And secondly, in the same video and in others that he's made, he was throwing around sexual innuendos and weird insinuations towards me and KaZamaNaTion for entertainment. He literally called us Throw It Back Nation.
Alright, so what you see here is the leader of Throw It Back Nation doing what he does best, throwing it back. Would want respected if it were the other way around, is what's a backbreaker for the Throw It Back gang,
which is throwing it back for men who has women. In the first video I discovered he did on me, which is the Spinning the Block on Young Shogun video. So yeah, I roasted him. I made community posts mocking him and calling him names like Dragontrashtv and DragonSusTV, which is clearly YouTube banter, by the way, and that's criticism. That's roasting a creator who made videos about me. But roasting someone publicly is not the same thing as digging into someone's private Facebook, exposing their grief, pulling their final messages with a dead friend, and using it for content. Those are two completely different levels, and the reason that difference matters is because it shows who actually made things personal first. So dude, stop lying.
During this, he literally says that him nor his team talks about, cares about, or even watches Dragon Ball, which I thought sounded pretty consistent with a damn lie, because when I came to the conversation, you were already discussing Dragon Ball.
So Dragonclap keeps trying to say that I lied in this community post because I said that nobody in my circle talks about Dragon Ball. But if you actually read the post instead of pulling a couple of sentences out of it to build a narrative that I'm lying, the point is actually clearly stated right there towards the end. I said we don't even care about Dragon Ball that much to keep discussing it every day. That's the actual point. We're not Dragon Ball channels, and it's not a daily topic in my community. The only time Dragon Ball even came up so far from the last I remember from that time around was when I made one opinion video on February 17th, 2024, a video that was simply meant to engage fans and get people talking. Dragonclap didn't insert himself into that until March 3rd, which was literally 15 days later. So by the time he showed up trying to insert himself into it, there wasn't even anything happening anymore. That video was just an opinion piece meant to engage fans, not some ongoing debate. And I didn't even know his video existed until later, which means the idea that he walked into some active Dragon Ball debate is completely false. The timeline shows the conversation had already passed, so trying to present it like he stepped into an ongoing situation isn't exposing a lie on my part, it's just ignoring the timeline to manufacture one.
And Young Shogun, when he came to my comments, it was on behalf of Black Sasuke about Dragon Ball. When Number 3 Content created a video on me and later deleted it, it was about Dragon Ball.
See, here we go again with this whole idea that it's been all about Dragon Ball, but that's not the truth, and he knows it. The moment this stopped being about Dragon Ball was when he made a video claiming that I disrespected the death of Akira Toriyama, which we've went over this countless of times throughout this whole documentary. That's not a Dragon Ball debate anymore. That's a direct attack on my character. And even he admitted later that what he said in that video wasn't accurate and that my tribute posts were not disrespectful, just distasteful. And he even apologized for even making the claim that he made in that video. But what he also isn't telling his viewers is that what happened in his own comment section under that Toriyama video, a creator by the name of Number 3 Content commented defending me, pointing out that I didn't disrespect Toriyama at all. And moments after that, Young Shogun replied to that same comment, calling Dragonclap out for lying and saying he was stupid for making that claim. Shogun and Number 3 Content got blocked. Both of those comments were removed the moment they challenged the narrative he was pushing. So when Dragonclap now tells his viewers this was all about Dragon Ball, he's leaving out the part where he escalated it into a personal accusation and then silenced the people who called him out for it. Because if his viewers actually saw that full context, it would be obvious that this stopped being about Dragon Ball the moment he decided to rewrite my character and then hide the comments that proved him wrong or challenge his claims. So yet again, another lie, which we've already proven earlier many times in this documentary.
And so they were both conspiring and both admitting to the fact that they were orchestrating the termination of my channel over calling them out about Dragon Ball.
See, and this guy is lying again, claiming that I was conspiring with Shogun to take down his channel via the copyright strike system. That is not true. The only reason I was flagging this dude for a privacy complaint is because this dude was literally doxing my family members' information, and I have the screenshot to prove it, which you guys are seeing on the screen. The only reason I was flagging this dude is because of that right there, the doxing, bruh. When you dox, that gives you no right to argue or complain about somebody flagging you. You shouldn't be doxing. That's the problem, bruh. See, this dude just can't seem to tell the truth, but of course I come with hard proof facts. I'm not just talking about it, I'm actually showing proof.
Meanwhile, Black Sasuke saying that I cannot blame them for how they handle it now. These guys, this frustration that makes a person crash out in their community post and essentially admit to you know, orchestrating a termination of somebody's channel against the YouTube policies, basically to publicly pride themselves on false copyright strikes. You know, all of this happens as a result of a disdain that they have for the series of Dragon Ball and all those who enjoy it.
So y'all just heard this dude literally try to pass off the notion that the reason why he was getting copyright struck is because I and Young Shogun were conspiring together to take down his channel, all because we have this disdain or hatred towards Dragon Ball lovers or lovers of Dragon Ball, when that's not even true in the slightest. The reason Shogun was copywriting his channel or copywriting his videos was for his own specific reasons that I'm not going to explain. That's for Shogun to explain. But I have my own reasons as to why I was flagging him myself, in which the reasons why I was flagging him was clearly because he was literally doxing, using images from my personal Facebook and videos from my personal Facebook, and I just quite frankly got tired of him abusing that. I just don't understand why he feels like he has the right to be able to do this stuff and not have any consequences behind it. So yeah, I flagged him for literally doxing family information, which is using a whole government name on his community tab post, which I have the screenshot of that, and I also have the screenshot of the privacy complaints via my email, so he could stop lying, trying to make it seem like we were just conspiring against him to take down his channel over some Dragon Ball stuff, and that's not the truth. It's all because he was doxing and using images from personal Facebooks and stuff like that. I have shown beyond a reasonable doubt that this dude has lied beyond disbelief, and this is a grown man, mind you, a grown man. He's lying, and you guys see the evidence right here on the screen, and also throughout this whole documentary, that has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that this dude was lying. If he felt like the whole situation was behind Dragon Ball, then why was he apologizing to me for the things that I was telling him that I felt like was wrong? Answer me that.
Remember when Black Sasuke came out mad about anybody that was crying over Toriyama's death? You remember that?
See, here we go again, guys, with Dragonclap trying to paint the narrative that I was mad at people for crying over Akira Toriyama. And see, here's the thing. Dragonclap is now literally sitting here trying to tell his viewers that I was mad about people crying over Akira Toriyama's death, but that's not what my post said. My point was about creators turning Akira Toriyama's death into content for engagement, which is completely different from criticizing people who are genuinely grieving. And what makes that claim even weaker is that Dragonclap himself admitted that there may be people who might be faking their reactions. So if he acknowledges that possibility, then he already understands the exact point I was making from the get-go, which means that the narrative that I was mad about people crying isn't an explanation. It's just another misrepresentation. You can't acknowledge that some reactions might be fake and then pretend that the criticism of performative grief is the same thing as attacking genuine grief.
And we also had something to say about that, at which they were mad at me for showcasing. I said, man, I looked at a KaZamaNaTion public post, and it says that Black Sasuke was friends with somebody who is no longer with us, and I gave respect, and even on that part, I gave it its own segment and said, hey man, nobody tell nothing but respect to this, right? Because, you know, it was really sad for real, man, and I understood that. I related to that pain. You know, Black Sasuke had posted up on his public wall for KaZamaNaTion, you know, screenshots, text messages that he had with his friend and everything, and you know, I felt him on that.
So here we are again with yet another lie in this video, and I don't understand why this dude just keeps lying. It's so annoying that he's doing this. This is a grown man. I mean, literally, you can't write this shit. But listen, Now, Dragonclap just sat here and claimed that I publicly posted screenshots of my final DMs with my best friend during his last moments on my KaZamaNaTion wall, from what I understand that he just said, because it wouldn't be anywhere on my Facebook, because I would not want anybody from my YouTube platform or any other streaming platform to know that I posted this on my Facebook personally. That is completely false. Those messages were never posted anywhere on my YouTube channel, never posted on my community tab, and never shown to my audience at all. That situation existed only on my personal Facebook account, which of course has since been deleted, which was a private space that nobody from my YouTube platform even knew about or had access to. So the only way he even knew about that situation in the first place is because he went digging into my personal life outside of YouTube, and now he's trying to rewrite it like I publicly put that information in front of my audience, which simply never happened. What makes this even worse is that Dragonclap himself already admitted that this was wrong. During our private Discord voice call, he apologized to me multiple times for bringing my best friend's death into the situation, and he literally described his own actions, as in his own words, as some fuck shit. Literally words verbatim. So he's already acknowledged that what he did crossed the line, and yet now he's trying to tell his viewers a completely different version of the story. So when someone apologizes for doing something and even admits it was some fuck shit but later pretends it never happened, that is not clarification. That is literally revision, flat out.
So when I expressed that, he was more so mad. How dare you mention my friend? Oh man, here we go. How dare you or your homie mention my daughter?
So here we are with Dragonclap trying to justify involving my deceased best friend by saying that Sasuke was mad, like how dare you mention my friend? And I'm like, how dare you and your homeboy mention my daughter? And these are Dragonclap's literal words just now, right? But that statement falls apart the moment you look at the facts. Because Dragonclap already admitted something important himself, he admitted that my community posts never said anything about his child. And when I asked him directly if he had any audio of me speaking bad about his child, his answer again was no, which I've already debunked his claims at the beginning or somewhere in the middle or along the lines of the end of this documentary. So let's establish the reality here. I didn't mention his child, I didn't insult his child, I didn't make a post about his child. His entire argument is that I was standing next to someone who made a video that briefly referenced him as a parent. Not my words, not my video, not something I created, but look at what he did in response. He went into my personal Facebook, pulled private grief videos, pulled DMs between me and my best friend during his final hours alive, and then used my deceased best friend as a satirical punchline in retaliation. Those two situations are not even remotely comparable. But here's where the contradiction becomes even more obvious, because there's another person in this story, Tyz the Saiyan. Tyz openly admitted on Twitter that he did talk about Dragonclap's daughter. That wasn't speculation, that was Tyz himself saying it publicly. And what did Dragonclap do about that? Did he retaliate the same way? Did he dig into Tyz's personal life? Did he make satire about Tyz's family? Did he start exposing private information about Tyz? No. Instead, he was publicly messaging Tyz and laughing with him on Twitter. And when asked about it, Dragonclap's explanation was, well, at least he didn't make a video about her. Think about that. So someone can openly admit to talking about your daughter and you'll still publicly joke and interact with them, but someone who never mentioned your child at all, you retaliate against by weaponizing their deceased best friend and digging through their private Facebook. That's not consistency at all whatsoever. That's not about protecting the child. That's selective outrage. And when outrage is selective, it stops being about principle and starts being about finding an excuse to target someone you already wanted to target to begin with. Because if mentioning your child was truly the line, then the person who actually admitted doing it would have received the harshest response. But that's not what happened. Instead, the harshest retaliation was aimed at the person who never mentioned the child in the first place, which exposes the real issue. This was never about protecting a child. This was about manufacturing a justification after the fact for going personal. If protecting your child was really the principle, the person who admitted mentioning her would have been the target, not the person who never mentioned her at all.
How dare you or your homie mention my daughter and then have the audacity to criticize somebody actually explaining with respect to something, because I do not disrespect the dead.
Say what? You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
I don't.
I didn't have to even make a disclaimer at all, though. That you're comparing two different energies. I never had to put a disclaimer to anything.
I made the disclaimer because I wanted to show respect.
You had to make a disclaimer because you were putting out some very dark shit.
I made the disclaimer for that segment because I wanted to show respect.
Because you were putting out some dark shit. That's why. That was some very dark shit.
No, it ain't because I was putting out some dark shit. It was because I genuinely don't fuck around and disrespect the dead. Fuck Toriyama. Fuck Toriyama.
Fuck Toriyama.
The presence of death is sad.
Did you see my apartment? What's wrong with what I believe? Obviously, what I fucking believe works.
I can speculate things about their life fairly, but I do not disrespect the dead.
Fuck Toriyama. Fuck Toriyama.
Fuck Toriyama.
There's also a couple of people that they have in my Discord that are trying to spin context. I believe a couple of spies in there.
It's the mind-boggling, eye-popping, all new
meant for trying to create out of context scenarios.
Oh, so that's how you're gonna play it. You gonna do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
I had to make it painfully clear ahead of everything that I know that this is a lot of noise that's happening with all those community posts that they're making.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
But we will not allow anybody to even muster the thought of orchestrating a termination against their channel.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That is against YouTube policies. And if I even hear anybody having a conversation of that, you will be thrown out of the Discord.
Okay. So just as you guys just heard, yes, he literally said what we just heard. So yeah, he said that we have spies in his Discord, guys. We have spies. We have moles in his Discord. This is exactly the reason why I said that this dude is delusional.
Hello? Where is everybody? I'm the only brain cell left.
That's why it says shining light on the delusion. And this right here, guys, is Class A USDA delusional, okay? We do not care to send moles into his Discord. We do not care to even waste our time dealing with that. We don't want him to do nothing but to confess the truth that he has been lying about everything he has said and done. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this documentary out with an honorable mention from both my father and my children's mother, because it seems to be painted that this narrative that Dragonclap has given to the center man is that I am not loved by my family. And also, according to Dragontrashtv or DiddysManTV or DiddysManTV, is that I went on record asking the public for money to get custody of my children. So also with that, he claimed that I went on record claiming that my baby mama said that I was a deadbeat. So we're gonna go ahead and debunk both of those, so these idiots could get the narrative that I am somehow not loved by my family and that somehow I am a deadbeat. out of the equation. So that leaves them literally with nothing to bang back at us or bang back at me about. Because at this point, they have literally lied about everything. So with that being said, like, share, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this documentary. And I appreciate everybody who played a part in this journey. And now we bring this arc to a close. Peace and love, everybody. I will catch y'all in the next live stream and or video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We out.
You know, you talking about every girl that you was probably ever with probably left you, man. Please. You literally just told us that your baby mom think you a deadbeat.
Shut your
So, you know, you projecting. You know, it's a video. It was a public video of him literally begging for about $60. Him, you know, come on, man. You know, there is no, look, I'll put it like this. There is no video of me setting up a GoFundMe or me asking people from the community for money so that I can get custody of my daughters. There's no video of that.
Yo, I'm sorry to call you at a bad time. I wanted to ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Don't say too much, all right? Just answer my question directly without saying my name or nothing personal, okay? So the reason I called you is because I have someone slandering me, making stuff up, clearly a doxer, okay? That's what I'll say so far right now. I will disclose everything in more greater detail after the call, all right? I have 2 questions for you. Am I a deadbeat?
No.
My second question to you is, have I ever asked you for $60 on a video or off video or anywhere in life, to your knowledge, to get custody of our kids?
No.
Okay. I appreciate you for answering these questions because I needed to debunk somebody who's clearly slandering my name, putting us up, talking about stuff that they don't know nothing about. And I really just needed you to bring some truth to this situation. I couldn't, hold on, maybe it's my phone. Hold on. Now say it again. My phone messed up.
I said, I don't know none of the people that you talk to on your YouTube, so I don't even know why he's lying on me.
I don't know. That's very, very weird. And that's why I'm saying, like, I called you to ask you them questions just so we could go ahead and debunk them right now, because I'm putting the audio in the documentary that I'm working on right now. My part 2 is coming out, and then I'm done. This is gonna be the last documentary I do on this dude.
So that's weird.
I know.
So I was really gonna worry about it.
Like, just the lie that I'm a deadbeat, we know that's not true.
Yeah, don't you put the kids in your videos anyway? So
no, I don't. No, ma'am. I never, ever put them in my videos. I never, ever mention their names. I don't have them walk in on a video. I keep them as far away from my YouTube platform as possible, because they can know that much. They can know I have kids. I mean, that's quite apparent, but they don't need to see them or see them in a video and all that stuff, or see them on my stream though. I'm not doing that, because I don't need.
Because you told me.
Yeah, I publicly said this many times, but that's okay. I don't mind saying that I have kids. I'm okay with that, but what I am trying to say and convey to you is that I don't want people also, if the utter mentioning of my baby mama is mentioned in a sense of a negative situation or a lie, I wanted to call you up and address that situation so it can be debunked and not look as if, like, it's different if I come up and just say, no, she ain't never said that or that never happened. It would be more hard hitting if I had your words alone. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I called you, to go ahead and debunk this dude so he can shut his mouth and we can carry on about our life, pretty much, you know? Look, now you see in the picture, in every picture he got a do-rag on, right? And then you mean to tell me that for your birthday, that's what you decided to wear?
That's sad. So ugly. I see why you're targeting y'all. Secretly gay or something, jealous.
Boom. Roasted.
Because what I noticed is that Sasuke often feels like his closest people around him don't care about him.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah, basically trying to allege that my family don't care about me. But I literally try to call Daddy because, you know, Daddy just got his Facebook back going, right? So, I tried to call him, but I'm pretty sure he probably knocked out or something like that. But I'm gonna get off here, okay? Because I don't want to say too much, you know. I love you though.
I love you too.
Hey, tell Daddy I tried to call him on Facebook not too long ago. Tell him I'll reach out to him later, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Bye-bye. Okay, so now what? So now what you got? Now what y'all got now? Y'all say my family don't care about me. Now what y'all got now? Now what's your next go-to to talk shit on me? What's your next go-to? The whole chat, y'all just heard that, right?
I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I see your lips moving, but there's a delay.
Hey, my king, I know it's late, but you know, I know if my daddy see my name pop up, he'll answer. So I just wanted to call and tell you how much I love you.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
All right. I thank you for checking on me.
Hey, no problem, man.
I love you, King.
Love you too, man. Take care and be safe out there.
I will, Dad.
All right.
You haven't said anything.
He don't say nothing. Look, man, the dude did a 9-hour live stream on me and didn't say nothing and was defeated by a 4-minute video that he's still complaining and crying about.
Now, see, I couldn't just close this documentary without getting him on this last thing that he just said to Headnamek. He literally just told Headnamek, bragging, claiming that I was whining about his 4-minute video. Dude, I literally got you on wax, whining about my 9-hour live stream, begging me to take it down because it paints you in a bad light and because you wanted a clean slate. So since you wanted to say that about me, I'm gonna go ahead and post a clip of you whining and begging for a clean slate right now. Wait, Clap, what video am I taking down? I only did a stream on the videos that you made about me. What videos?
No, but listen, man, I'm gonna take down all my videos pertaining to anything that you felt was offensive.
Clap, right? I hear you, Clap. I hear you, Clap. But hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out this real quick.
That was if there was some things that I did that offended you. As a man, I told you already.
Yes, and I heard you.
Down if you agree to take down the videos on me. So the streams, the 9-hour stream.
Damn, Clap. You know, so my streams did something wrong because you said.
I'm just saying that it mentioned this whole situation, things that offended you, things that I want to create a clean slate.
Okay, clean slate. Okay, I just wanted to
see me going in on you. They don't see me talking, mischaracterizing you. All of that shit.
That's fair.
That I just agreed. That I just apologize to you about. Diamonds, Diddy.
Shut up. So with that being said,
you lame ass pussy ass nigga, balding ass nigga, flabby body ass nigga, unk energy ass nigga, unk looking ass nigga.